G'day everyone, Nathan here at Glass for Classics. Now this is one that we do get asked for a lot. This is for the Morris Minis. So those of you with Austin or Leyland Minis, same deal. Now, as Mini owners ourselves, this is one that's close to our heart, and it is something that is very, very easy to do yourself. You do not need any special tools or any special equipment. It is one that you can tackle in the shed on the weekend. Setting tape. Very, very simple. This is the same stuff that both Austin, Morris and Leyland use from the factory. We keep lots of this in stock. It's usually about $10 a metre. Hit us up if you need this. Now, this particular customer, we have made the glass for. So when we do all our glass is cut and edged by CNC machine to ensure complete accuracy. It's the little details. You need a recess in the end of the glass here where the hinge is located, and also at this end where the hinge is located here as well. We will always cut this in toughened glass. Do not ever let anybody talk you into doing it at laminated at your local glazier in town. It will not fit in the frames. Now, there is a combination of 4mm and 5mm thick glass from the factory. In this instance, we are running 5mm glass, so we're going to be using 1.2mm setting tape. If you've got the 4mm thick glass, you will use the 1.6mm thick setting tape to pad the frame a little bit more. The other thing to be aware is that there is a combination of stainless steel frames from the factory, but also chrome frames from the factory. There are a couple of minor differences in widths for those. The actual external shape is the same. In this instance, these are the stainless steel frames that we are using for this customer. Now, move this out of the way. Removing the end. Same process for pulling the glass apart. In this instance, the customer's already done it. These 4 screws, you've got 2 here and 2 at this end. These are not standard Phillips head screws. They are what's called a posi drive. If you're not sure what a posi drive screw looks like, do a quick Google search. If you use a normal Phillips head screwdriver in this, chances are you're going to strip the head and you're going to be stuffed trying to find the same thread screws, because these are very hard to find at your local nut and bolt shop. So if you don't have a posi drive screwdriver, go get one, or at least go buy the tip so that you can put it in your drill. These come out very easily. If you are actually pulling the frames apart, as I said, these have obviously already been pulled apart. If you are pulling the frames apart for the first time, I usually suggest soaking these screws a day in advance in some WD-40 or Penetrol. If you've got some of that there, just something to work its way down these threads, particularly if you have the chrome frames. As I said, these are the stainless, so these ones don't have any surface rust on them. If you have the chrome frames, these threads are prone to rusting into this piece here. In this instance, they're stainless. We don't have that problem. That is now off. I know it sounds obvious. Outside face hinges on the inside. Very easy to get your glass backwards if you are trying to orientate the safety stamp to be correct. Now, we're going to grab our glass. As I said, this is the setting tape. We have the stainless steel frames. We're using 5mm glass for this. We're using 1.2mm setting tape. If you need it, talk to us. I'm going to go ahead with this setting tape. All we're going to do is just fold this in half. We're going to pinch it in half into a V shape, like that, all the way along. Just to hold this in place. Now, you don't need to be too exact. As long as it's got a bit of a pinch or a pleat in it, you'll be fine. As I said, no real skills or tools needed for this. It is a very quick, very basic job that you can achieve in the shed on the weekend. Alright, that's now done. My advice, put the join in here, horizontally, where this hinge is going to sit. If you put it here, it's easier to access and you can trim the join. You do not want the join at the bottom because you risk a leak if it's down there. Now this is not rubber, this is actually a butyl strip. This will tack off and eventually bond to the glass in the frame and prevent leaks. Now, in the interest of just making life easier, we've got some clear tape just from the desk drawer. If you've got some black electrical tape, you can use that too. Don't use masking tape because you'll see little white lines on the edge when you're finished. But all we're going to do is just peg this here, just to hold it, stretch this out, run it around. I like to grab another piece. You just pop it in the center here. Again, just to locate it so that it's not going to move on you. Wrap this around, grab another piece, hold that there. at the end where it's overlapping, we're just going to grab the knife blade, we're going to press down. Don't try and scissor or cut that, just push down, and you'll get a nice neat join through the middle there, so you've got no gaps at all. Now, next task. You're going to massage this. This is pliable, very, very pliable. You're just going to massage this to get the creases out of it. It will stick to the glass a little bit. Same with this piece here. This corner, you don't need to put any cuts in this if you're using the same product. Just massage this a little bit so you get the pleats out of it. And you'll see there, that's taking on the shape nicely all the way around. These pleats are forming about halfway back, which is fine. That's where the frame's going to come to. We'll do the same in the top and bottom corner on the front edge here. Just massage this all the way around. Now, typically we recommend using kerosene. Because this is butyl and kerosene are both petroleum-based products, it will cause this to tack off and stick to the frame that it's going into. To be honest, if it's the first time you've done this, the kerosene is going to start tacking this off and set very, very quickly. Use a bit of glass cleaner. It'll make life a lot easier. All you've got to do, give this a good wet. You can't use too much, it's not going to hurt it. Because it's encapsulated in a frame, it's not going to fall out. You're not going to have any problems there. So sit that one down. Now, the frame has a little bit of flex in it, as you can see. Our first task is going to be lining up the front edge in the bottom corner here. We'll push that so that it's down inside the frame. Then we'll just lift this up slightly so that it's now popped over. You can see it's sitting in the frame here and sitting in the frame. The next task, stand this up, but we just push down. You don't need too much force. This is now sitting just outside. If you pull that out, it'll slide over there. Same with this, just give it a push here. Slide this over the glass here. Give that a push down. That's now sitting in situ. You can see it's sitting nicely all the way through the corners here and down here. Hinge. Very easy to get this backwards. Close it up so you've got it the way it would be sitting in the vehicle. The top of the piano hinge is the outside of the vehicle. So as long as you've got it facing the opposite way to this, you'll be fine. You can gently push this one on. Just close this up. In here, again, posi drive screwdriver. Fold this down. We'll pop our little screws back in. If you don't have a second set of hands, sometimes a little clamp just to pull that together. That's now closed this gap up. Enough for me to get this in. Pop those last ones in. Very easy to cross thread these. Go to the point where they nip and don't go any further. That's that done. From there, just grab yourself a new razor blade. Use a brand new one. Do not use an old one. If you've got it lying around, throw that in the bin. Brand new one. If you slip with a brand new blade, you're not going to scratch the glass. If you slip with an old blade, you'll scratch your brand new glass. From here, we're just going to trim all this setting tape back. I tend to lean the blade, if I spin this around here, out on about a 10-degree angle, and it gives you a nice clean cut all the way around. Cutting around here is a little bit more difficult. If you get in on the angle, you can clean that one up later. Run this round. over. Same again on the other side. And job done. Any excess from this will just come off with a bit of glass cleaner if you've got any grubby marks. But that is now done. Now, this particular customer has gone with the green tint, which is quite common for the LS Minis, Leyland Minis here in Australia. However, generally we do the clear glass for this. That is now those two rear quarter windows completely finished. So if you do need the glass, if you do need the setting tape, we do all the sliding window, and for the Australians out there watching this, the wind-up and quarter vent window style minis as well. We've had back windows custom made as well in toughened glass, so no demisters for those of you wanting to keep them original in appearance. And we also get the windscreens made as well. So if you've got any questions, if you want to place an order, feel free to get in touch. Our number's 1300 442 000, or feel free to send us an email to enquiries@glass4classics.com.au. Hope this has been helpful. Feel free to talk to us. We'll chat soon.